Alright, so what this video is going to be about is how to lose weight if you're a fucking nerd. Alright? And basically, the reason I'm making this video is because if you look up videos on how to lose weight on YouTube, basically, you're going to get guys like Christian Guzman, alright? Who's telling you, like, oh, it's easy to lose weight. And it's not that hard to lose weight, but most people don't really lose weight to look like this guy, okay? Where you get guys like, oh, Scooby 1961. Scooby 1961 is actually dope. All right, he's a great channel, but he's also can be pretty intimidating because like he's basically already made it, right? Um, or for the ladies out there, there's like a Jasmine, who's also like she's already fine, you know. Uh, yeah, all right, I can't look at Jasmine too long. But either way, my point is that watching the world of fitness YouTube can be very intimidating, in my opinion. That's how I felt about it when I was watching it often. And most people don't really want to lose weight for the reasons of like looking like Christian Guzman. Okay, people don't want to lose weight to look like this guy. They probably want to lose weight to look like just like a normal member of society again. Okay, this is like a really high level of dedication to bodybuilding or whatever. But most people just want to look, like if you're really round like I was, you just want to be a normal person again. All right, and you want to be able to do stuff like sit on a bus without people going, ah, shit, okay, I gotta be polite to this guy. Like, you want to be able to do stuff like fit through a column of desks without, like, having to walk around, okay? They're, simple things are the main motivations for most people to want to lose weight, not necessarily reaching to high levels of fitness like that. Although, we all dream about having great physique like that. And I'm making this video specifically for nerds, which is why it's in PowerPoint format. All right, here's my nerd resume. I refer to myself as an enthusiast for the complex numbers, and they are my favorite thing. My top skills are engineering and playing the piano, two classic nerd things. And losing weight can be hard if you're a terrible athlete, which I am. Here's my athletic resume. I won JV soccer MVP when I was a senior. Yeah. And as a baseball player, in 18 at bats, I never hit the ball. I hit the ball into play a couple times, but I never got on base through a hit. But I did get walked sometimes, in case you're wondering. But fortunately, like, being athletic is not really a requirement of losing weight at all. All right, what can you expect? Here are some pictures of me as a round person. I'm about 190 pounds in these videos, which I'm not very tall. I'm about 168 centimeters, which is 5'5", and I'm probably one in this picture in particular. I'm probably like 193, 194. In these ones, I'm probably lower than that by a little bit, 188, 185. In this picture, I know it's like for comic effect, like I'm kind of just doing this sort of thing, but come on, that's pretty huge. And then this is pretty much what I looked like all the time. And the reason I included this picture was because it was taken at a moment that that made me feel really bad, which was that my girlfriend of that moment of that time, I guess, was on the phone with her mom, and I heard her mom go, oh, and then say some stuff in Chinese that I didn't really understand. So we talked about it later, and she was like, yeah, my mom thinks you're a little fat. And I was like, all right, well, we'll see. We shall see. And so, you can expect basically to look something, if you look something like this, like I did, here I am again. Here's, a little bit after I started to like decide I wanted to lose weight. On May 31st, I was 191 pounds, and you can expect, check these out. These are some pretty dope I love looking at these pictures, man. Not these ones. I'm a little bit ashamed of what I looked like back then, but this one for sure. You can expect to lose like about 1.5 pounds per week. Maybe, I think at the peak of losing weight, I had lost like 2 or 3 pounds a week, but that is probably not sustainable. But in 18 weeks, I lost 28 pounds. That's pretty typical for someone who does what I did. All right, if you go on like fitness.reddit.com, you can see like tons of stories like that. So 1 pound to 2 per week is probably reasonable. All right, and then the lowest I ever made it to was 149.6. And as we take this video today, I think I was 155 this morning. But of course, I'm hoping to get a little bit lower, probably mid 140s by the end of this year. And that's probably doable for me as long as I stay compliant to the method, right? The biggest thing, I know I haven't really said much about what you even do to like lose some amount of weight, but the biggest thing that you do is no matter if you follow my method or someone else's method, like if you stay in the habit of doing it or you stay compliant to it for a long time and you emphasize compliance over anything else, over like your long-term adherence to your plan is orders of magnitude more important than some short-term gain you're going to get. So for example, like, well, I'll give some examples of what I mean at the end if I remember. So, you may be wondering, like, how do I get from being look like this to looking like this? And sorry, guys, I don't have any, like, body shots, although that would be pretty fun. Here's basically what I did. I realized, like, as a human, we're all bound to the laws of physics, and one of the laws of physics that we're bound to is conservation of energy. So energy can't be created or destroyed, it can only change form. And I basically tracked calories. I still track calories today as my number one hobby. And then because of law of conservation of energy, weight loss basically occurs if your calories used through your existence is greater than your calories consumed through eating. And like, this is the most important thing. If you understand this, like, and you live it, you will lose weight. It's literally impossible not to because of, physics. So here's what I did was, the first thing I did was I made this like food calculator. I'm a huge spreadsheet nerd. Like I have spreadsheets for things you could never even imagine. But like probably you can just use an app like MyFitnessPal and get close enough to the same results as long as you're careful about which items of food you put in the food diary. But essentially, you need some way of tracking how much you eat and specifically how many calories are contained within each item of food that you eat. So in summer of 2017, I basically only ate these 19 foods, and I had an extra spot here for miscellaneous 1 and 2 that, like, if I went to Burger King, I have, like, on part of the spreadsheet you can't really see over here, there's, like, how many carbs, protein, and fat are in, like, 10 pieces of chicken nuggets from Burger King. Like, anything else that I ate, I just put in the MISC section. So I did have the flexibility. But if you use MyFitnessPal, and again, you just make sure that your food diary is honest and legit, this should be fine. The notable thing is, why do you track your what's called your macronutrients, your carbohydrates, your protein, and your fat over your, like, don't just necessarily put the calories from the label in there, is just because sometimes whoever is in charge of regulating the nutrition labels doesn't necessarily make you put the exact number of calories correctly. Like, there are some rules where the amount of carbs, protein, and fat times, like, 1 gram of carb is 4 calories, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories, and 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. Like, the sum of those as they're added up by the carbs, protein, and fat may not equal to the number of calories on the back of the label. So just something to be careful about. You'll still get pretty close from using the back of the label if you choose not to use the macronutrients, but just if you're really uptight, like as I was at that time, about getting an accurate count, then just be careful about it. There's a lot of like popular weight loss resources that are basically like fat is terrible for you and never eat it, and for instance, like low fat is used on literally anything to make it seem like it's healthy. Like Swedish fish have a low fat label on them to make them appear like they're more healthy. But actually, fat is incredibly important. You know, if you're going from like looking like this person and all you want to do is one day look like this person, which is what I believe most people's weight loss goal is, um, there's no reason to really care about like saturated fat versus unsaturated fat. But the biggest reason either of those two fats are important because they basically manage your hunger. Like if you get enough fat, you won't feel hungry. And if you eat too many carbs, especially carbohydrates with high glycemic index, like what that means is like sugar, for instance. If you eat a lot of sugar as opposed to like whole wheat, you will start to feel hungry because your insulin will spike. So the point is just make sure that you're not ashamed to eat fat while you're trying to lose weight. And then keep these other ones, keep your protein up and your carbs. Carbs are kind of whatever. Keep those low-ish, I would say. But the biggest thing, it doesn't really matter how many carbs, protein, or fat you do, as long as you follow the law of conservation of energy. So make sure your calories that you use through your existence is less than your calories consumed through eating. So we've kind of talked about how do you compute how many calories you ate, and you start with MyFitnessPal or some sort of a spreadsheet or something like that. MyFitnessPal is just an app that you download that does all this stuff for you. And then what I did was I had a food scale, and I still use this exact food scale. Like this was taken like a few minutes ago, and I just measured like how much chicken I ate, how much broccoli, typical shit. And then that's how to get this side of your equation, calories consumed through eating. Now, how do I get the calories that I use in my existence? Well, if you go on MyFitnessPal, which I think I have on this phone, hold on. If you go on MyFitnessPal, you basically go I'm making myself huge. You basically go over here on the diary and you just click on your goals, okay? And you put what your goals are, and you see I got a little bit fat, so I wanted to start losing more weight. And then you just put your goal weight and your weekly goal. Set your weekly goal to be maintain your weight. And then when you do that, you refresh MyFitnessPal and it's going to tell you your daily calories that you should reach to. So for me right now, it's about 2,048. And then that's how you get the calories used through your existence. They use, I can't remember the name. I think the Mifflin-Gior method of calculating your calories. There's different ways of calculating your people's total daily energy expenditure or their calories used through their existence. But I found that I think they use one called NEAT, N-E-A-T. But anyway, I thought MyFitnessPal's algorithm for that was very accurate. The thing that I don't think MyFitnessPal does very well is accurately tracking your calories consumed through eating. You need to be very careful that the entries you pick are accurate to your food. So sweet. That's about it for this segment here about calories. And then the other thing that I did, which was super nerdy, was I just have here the calories I ate in a given day, approximately my number of calories from like running or walking or whatever, and then my total daily energy expenditure, which I got from MyFitnessPal. And then this is all just for fun, I guess, for data science. And then here's the offset. As long as I'm negative in the calorie count, as long as I'm under my calories, then I will lose weight. And oh, you know what I forgot to do, which is pretty stupid, but I forgot to show you guys the plot. Right? Here I am. I'll show you guys a graph of my weight loss over time in a second. Don't let me forget. But yeah, I basically track my weight every day from 31st of May 2017, and I did this fairly religiously until middle October of 2017. And at first, I was just keeping track of my weight, but for this first week, I got like a little bit disheartened and missed a few days. And then after that, I started really getting into like the food measurement and stuff. And the reason I did this is because I read this book called The Effective Executive, and Peter Drucker, who's like one of the greatest management minds on this planet, said like, hey, what gets measured gets managed. And it goes for anything, like your weight, your time, your effectiveness at work. If you are able to measure those things, they will automatically start to improve. So, started keeping track of my weight. And if I go here to a little bit, nope. It's on this one, I think. Hold on, guys. Hang on. I have 2 Google Drive accounts, so if I go here to this spreadsheet here, this is the one that I actually used back in those days, and I made this I made a bunch of different graphs, but if you look, you can clearly see how dramatic weight loss can be. And according to this trend line, which is not super accurate because there's the great tequila discontinuity of October 2017, but according to this, I lost about 0.15 pounds every day. Okay, so that's the trend. And there are differences between the slopes. Like here I was running a lot, and you don't have to run in order to do weight loss, but it just can help you get to your goal faster. And I want to show you that this method does work, as long as you're actively doing it. And once I got back into I was just like kind of hanging out at this part. I was kind of happy with where I was at that time. And that's cool, just to show you guys that it does work to look at your calories, and you can lose weight in that manner. But I just want to bring up the point of exercise. Exercise is not actually required. It can help you get to your goal faster, but the biggest thing is that you should be careful about exercising, because if you don't eat enough, doing extra cardio can actually make you ridiculously hungry. There were some days during this time period where I was eating 1,200 calories a day and running 10 miles a day, which was pretty tough. Okay, here's a 1,300 calorie day, and I didn't do much running, but maintaining that level of difference between your daily expenditure and your cardio, or your daily expenditure and what you ate, is pretty tough. And even days like this day where I ate 1,600 calories and did probably 10 miles of running, that shit's super hard. So I would not recommend that for people, because it can break your compliance pretty hard. And keeping compliant to your weight loss is the most important thing. Just do whatever it takes to keep this equation the truth. And whether that means for you, getting close to the boundary but not necessarily going over it, you're going to be fine either way. But just don't do crazy shit in the hopes that a short-term goal will, like, don't chase a scale weight, right? Like if you look at my weight here, it just goes up and down each between each individual day, like the stock market, but in general it goes down, unlike the stock market. The stock market generally goes up, but each day can have random fluctuations. So your weight's the same way because of dehydration, or how big was your shit that morning. Stupid shit like that can matter. All right, how much sodium did you take can increase your water weight like by 4 pounds. Especially if you're huge, like in this early days, like you could have like a 2 to 3 pound swing each day. um so what were the results? The results are basically that I lost 42 pounds in a year, and today, I was 155 or 154, can't really remember, and consistently kept 37 off. Of course, you're a human, so you can't necessarily just keep up this spreadsheet forever. But if you're serious about losing weight, you can definitely do it, and you can definitely do it through just an easily measurable and repeatable way. And here's like the spreadsheet I've been using lately, because I was going up a little bit more than I wanted to, so I've been just trying to keep my weight down. And this is probably like the most efficient thing you can do. Put the date, put your weight change there. Here, borderline just means my calories for that day, and then just track your calories that you ate and make sure that you're underneath. I guess the sign is different, but on this chart, if you're negative, if you're negative, that means you went over on this chart, and if you're positive, that means you went under. So being positive on this chart is good. And again, biggest tips: compliance is the most important thing. Cardio is 100% a myth. You don't need to do any cardio to lose weight. You just need to eat less than you use in a particular day, and don't do anything that's going to, like, don't chase a short-term goal in order to sacrifice a long-term goal. Losing weight's awesome. It's the best thing, like, in my life that I ever did. I guess probably the best thing I could have done was just not become fat in the first place. But it's very rewarding to not be fat anymore. Like, people compliment you all the time. People are like, wow. People tell you look great. All right, like my friends from high school last year was the 10-year anniversary of my high school, and people would just be like, yeah, you look awesome. Like, I can definitely say I got better looking since high school ended, which I guess I'm proud of. But yeah, losing weight is 100% possible. I know this is a super long video and kind of not that well put together, but it's really important to me to let people know that this is possible for anyone. And if you need any help, or you just let me know, because losing weight, anyone can do it. All right, that's all I gotta say. Goodbye.